Asato ma satgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I had wanted to say a few things about Vedantic meditation, but Maharaj already said it. So we will just go into a few more points. But before I say that, I would like to tell you a story which very aptly depicts our condition. It's something similar to a story which Sri Ramakrishna used to say. This story begins in the Himalayan mountains. On one of the mountains, there was a house, and they used to have cattle and hens, chicken, and it had a thatched roof. So one day it so happened that on that roof, an eagle laid a couple of eggs. She had made her nest, nobody knew it, and she laid a couple of eggs. And one of the eggs rolled down the thatched roof and fell into the hen coop. So the chicken noticed it, but they thought it's one of our eggs. And the eagle also noticed that one of her eggs had rolled down, so she just carried the other egg somewhere else into a forest on another mountain. Now, this egg which rolled into the chicken coop, it hatched after some time, and out came an eaglet. He was big, he was black, and yet he was surrounded by chicks. So he thought he was a chick. And they thought so too. They also thought that he's one of us, only he's dark. So he grew up with them. He would do all that chicken do. He would peck at corn, he would go around clucking, and he would imitate the chicks around him. And he did this. But he was bigger and stronger. So he went, from time to time, he moved away from that coop and he went to a cliff. Really, we are strapped up so much, I don't know. Totally bound. So this eaglet would go to a cliff close by and just look into the vista spreading in front of him. He would see the verdant forests, the beautiful lush landscape, and the mountains in the horizon, and a river flowing in the valley. He would look at all this and he would say, wow, how beautiful. But my brothers and sisters in the coop, they don't get to see this. And then he looked up, he saw a lone eagle flying in the blue sky. So beautiful. He thought, wow, I wish I was an eagle. And he looked and looked. And then he said, well, I'm a chicken, nothing to do. So every day this happened. He would come to that cliff. He would notice the beautiful landscape in front of him. And you know how beautiful it is there. It's just mind-boggling. It's beyond description. He would see that. And he would see the lone eagle would be there in the skies. That was his brother. The other egg also had hatched, and that eagle was now swirling. It was flying in the skies. And he would look at that and say, wow, I wish I was an eagle. Now this went on every day. And he would regret, oh, if only I could fly. And then how it would appear from up there, how it would be, how spectacular the views would be. And I would be like on top of the world. I wish I was an eagle. 20 years passed by. Now he was an old eagle who still thought he was a chicken. and acted like a chicken. And then the last day of his life, he was still on the cliff. He went to the cliff, that edge, and he saw that lone eagle in the sky, and he prayed. He closed his eyes and prayed, "Oh God, this is a wasted life. At least in my next life, make me an eagle. I don't want anything else. Make me an eagle." And it seems he toppled over the cliff and he died. Does this remind you of something? So, something similar to our situation, you know. I wish I was an eagle. I wish I could fly. So, we are doing this constantly. We are the pure consciousness we are seeking. Our conscious experience is proof of our being pure consciousness. But because the mind has never learned to reflect it this way, and we are used to thinking we are chicken, it's a conditioned process that I am an entity with body and mind and a strong personality sense. Check your first person experience at any point of time. We are primarily self-aware, but I think I'm a personality. Look at the amount of adhyas, conditioning happening in the mind. I am self-aware all the time, but I think I'm somebody. I'm a person. And I am never unaware, but I feel strongly identified with thoughts. I identify, and that also not by default, by choice. Is it making sense what I'm saying? This is the irony of the human experience, you know. We don't understand it. For a long time, we go by our thoughts. We never were those thoughts. Like the eagle was never a chicken, but he prayed and prayed that he should be a chicken, and yes, to be enlightened. We keep praying. But if we only investigated and explored within ourselves, you know, at least our prayers would be better, are more authentic. And if we get some kind of an intuition of our real nature, you know, it would be just manifesting the inner divinity. Manifesting it because it's already present in full form. Full awareness is already there, but the mind is creating this. Anyway, so all sadhana pertains to clearing the mind, removing this conditioning, this coloring over the mind, this adhyas. Adhyas is a huge concept in Vedanta, superimposition. I go by my thought with which I am identified and by choice. It's a tremendous phenomenon in our lives, but it's happening so universally that we think it's normal. But if you just step, you know, out of the mind, I don't mean you just move a little away from the mind, you'll see this is what is happening with us. So you see, Vedantic meditations are all reality-centric, not mind-centric. They will not give you a process of the mind to go towards reality. You just have to hit the truth by, you know, it will be just of the nature of an affirmation or some instructions given to you, and you have to develop the insight through that instruction. It is reality-centric and it is not mind-centric, no process. Another thing which we should notice before we begin this meditation is the mind creates, you know, this subject-object thing very strongly. Through our identification with thought, I become the subject and you become the object. The whole objective world spread out before us. Who creates this? See, in awareness, just in self-awareness, there is no subject-object distinction. Duality is made up by the mind. And its parameters, the way it functions, are time, space, and causation, all made up by mind. We think in terms of time, in terms of space, in terms of causes. And once you are doing this, it's so strong, it won't stop. So then automatically now you become somebody. You know? When you are somebody, the mind will not stop, because it's a made up thing and you are strongly fixed on it. How will the mind stop? So the mind has this tendency to delude us through all this in a very big way. And then we are asking, oh, I wish I was an eagle. I wish I was free and flying in the skies. Now, that's why you see the very first thing which we do is this current of thinking in us that has to stall a bit. Temporarily, for the time being, during your sadhana period. It's a request. Not that it is an absolute necessity, it is required for the realization of the self, but it helps. Especially minds which are strongly conditioned, it will help. Stall that process a bit and see this clearly for yourself, how the mind creates duality, how the mind functions in time, space, and causation, and keeps us fixed to our thoughts and memories, and gives us a strong personality sense. Once you are thinking in terms of the I thought, which we discussed in the morning, you cannot catch the aham sphuran. You cannot catch the I awareness. You try it out and see. And that is why this is a meditation. What I will be give you now, what I'll be doing with you now will be to discern these two. To discern is to separate them. If you can separate aham vritti from aham sphuran or aham tattva, it's a big step. You have done something very important. And then you just manufacture the sanskars to remain over as the aham sphuran. Yes, not going back to our sense of ourselves in terms of body-mind. So this meditation, you see, it begins like this. One more thing I will point out before we start the meditation. See, your I thought is the pivot of all your thinking. Have you noticed this? You may say, no, Mataji, I'm thinking of international affairs. I'm thinking of India election. But you are thinking of it as it pertains to you, as it is going to affect you, as it matters to you, as it is going to be relevant to you. So, I thought is the pivot of your entire thought process. When you put it aside, you put aside the mind for the time being. And if I can do that, I can work on this pivot. It is easy to go into aham sphuran. It is easy to go into the scintillation of awareness ever present in us. Another idea I will give you here is it is important to cultivate the heart center to be able to do this. Many times we make it an intellectual process, but for one whom this becomes an experience, there is a certain activity of the heart center which they have kept up through sadhana, through a disciplined life. That makes this meditation very easy. Otherwise, you'll be speculating. After some time, it's a rational, intellectual process. You would lose touch with awareness. So that's why the disciplined approach, the graded path is always very good, It's hard to say this. I work with youngsters. It's hard to tell them this. But just a few years of meditation will convince you of this. That if there is a certain level of discipline in life and activation of the heart center, you keep your vital energy at the heart. This process is easy. So we will do the meditation now. We will go into it. If you can, please sit in Padmasana. If you cannot, that's fine. If you can, just sit cross-legged. At least for the next 10 minutes, we will try to maintain a certain stillness of posture. It will help you make this investigation. One more thing which I demand is the spine should be erect. Yes. Don't lean on the seat behind. Yes. Once the spine is erect, automatically you become deeply conscious. It's an automatic process because, technically speaking, the vital energy moves upward. You become more conscious in the first person experience. So now, once the posture is fixed and a certain amount of stillness in the system, yes, don't move unnecessarily and keep your spine straight, erect. Now we will work on our breathing. Just practice deep breathing. That is all I want you to do. Just breathe deeply. Just keep up the deep breathing and watch the calmness that has come over your mind. There is a direct link between your breath and your thought. Both are expressions of vital energy. When you calm your breathing, you calm your mind. You have brought your energy into your hands. Just breathe deeply and notice the calmness in your mind. This much is common to all meditation, all the different kinds of meditation. Fixing a posture, a certain level of stillness, spine is erect, deep breathing. Now, when you are in this super alert state, notice what we discussed in the morning, the two eyes within you. There is the aham vritti, the sense of your personality, and there is the sense of your awareness. Now, you shut out the personality sense completely. Let's hang it for the next few minutes. Just become deeply aware. If thoughts come in, just see from where they emerge and into what do they merge. If the I thought comes, do the same. It is moving in and out of what? That is the I awareness. Just existence. Your presence. You are, and you are not what you think you are. Just being. If the I thought comes up, just notice it emerges from what and goes back into what. You will come to the I awareness. This is the ever-present reality of our existence. Pure awareness and being. It is of the nature of consciousness and existence. Please see. And it leaves you feeling good within, because awareness is happiness. Just remain fully aware without identifying with any thought process. This is being as you are. Existence, consciousness, and bliss. This is our real unchanging nature, no matter what we appear to the world. Just detect that scintillating sense of awareness within you. The Hamsfuran, the bubbling up of the amness, existence. You are the consciousness in which you think, and you are not thinking of consciousness. You are the light of the divine which you worship. You are the very substratum of existence, being. If we have touched something of this awareness, you will at once feel the blissfulness of it. Keep up the meditation. Chanchalya should go. The mind, the body, everything. Make it still, make it aware. If you can keep up this sense of being, existence, for at least 30 seconds at a stretch, you will experience pure awareness. At that time, there's no mind. Please notice. You don't experience the Atman in the mind. You experience mind in consciousness. You are that consciousness alone, identified with the mind and body only by choice. It's the same light shining in every heart, the same awareness that we are all feeling. That is why there is no all. God is, all is not. If you can keep up the feel of pure awareness longer, what happened to the salt doll will happen. The salt doll went to measure the ocean, but being a salt doll, it got dissolved in it. Aham Tattva resolves into its source. You are existence, consciousness, bliss itself. You are Brahman, the ever-present reality of consciousness. Every object, every person shines in that consciousness and appears distinct from you, but is not. Is the same light shining in all beings. Imagine this ocean of light within you encompass everything, because that is the truth about this light. Feel this to be the reality about you. Drive it deep. I am the life in all beings. I am existence, consciousness, bliss itself. All power is within me. All energy is within me. And this is my unchanging nature. I am Brahman. Now we slowly open our eyes. And see that the one who's beside you is also the same. Appearances are different. Name, form, function, time, space, causation, all created by mind. In awareness, there was nothing. Some such meditation practiced on a daily basis will give us a dip into our real nature. Otherwise, we will keep thinking. See, once you think you are somebody, not possible to touch the truth of your being. You can't stop mind. Actually speaking, you can't stop mind at all. You can pause mind, you can stall mind to get this kind of a insight. And then you use that, mind will become luminous with meditations like this. You can do anything with that mind. But we must uncover our true nature. What's the point in living an entire life not knowing who I am? The truth of my own existence. So this is a meditation, just a 15-minute thing to help to reintroduce us to ourselves, to the real self, capital S. And the play of the ego, the play of the conditioned mind, you can see it for what it is. Nothing appearing to be something. Keep it like that. Give things the importance they deserve. But remain fixed on the truth of our true being. That is the worship of God. That is truly worshipping God. So I will stop the meditation here and we will take the Q&A if you have any. Yes.
Can I ask? So, I have a question about the technique of meditation that you just practiced. So, during that meditation, you say, do this, do that, do that. So, in order to follow those instructions, you have to activate your mind. And as soon as you activate your mind, you are again focusing on mind and you are kind of decoupling yourself from being conscious and you are again coming back to the mind. So following those instructions come in the way sometimes in focusing on that meditation.
Right.
Is that?
Yeah, it's a good question. Actually speaking, you follow the instruction only as long as you require to follow it. So that other thoughts may not come into our minds, so that the mind doesn't go away from the meditation process. You are following instructions. But actually speaking, when you enter this meditation, you let go of everything. Yes. So this is just a kind of guided meditation to reach that state. There you just let go of everything. In fact, the more you practice, the more this will become easier. And you don't require a guided meditation to reach that. That's right.
Pranam Mataji, you referenced the salt doll example during meditation, which is something which Thakur also mentions in the Gospel. And he also says the Jnani, once reaching enlightenment, can keep the body only for 21 days. That's also there in the Gospel. So, how does this reconcile with our efforts of realizing the truth? And
see, I can tell you this, as Maharaj said, it is not that a person of enlightenment will be dead. What it is, for that you have to understand what Nirvikalpa Samadhi means. Many people have a total wrong understanding of it. It is not a kind of mysterious process and then the body is gone. It's not something like that. It is an awakening into full aware consciousness, so that the technically speaking how it is seen. If you can maintain full awareness for 12 seconds, it is dharana. Full focus on an object for 12 seconds is dharana. 12 into 12 seconds, it becomes dhyan. Which means 144 seconds is not a joke. It is 2 minutes, 24 seconds. And beyond that is samadhi. Once you are able to hold yourself in full awareness for more than that time, you have plunged into full awareness. Then you don't want to function as a limited human being. You don't want to come back into a conditioned body mind. So that is what is meant by they give up their body in 21 days. Because now you're in full awareness. See, even just now, when you become fully aware, you don't want to go into the rut of your memories and silly thinking and conditioning and negativities and all that. Isn't it? This is a far higher liberation. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is a tremendous state where you have awakened into full awareness by dint of this kind of disciplined effort. Now you don't want to get back into conditioned existence. That is the meaning of letting go of the body. So our imagination will tell us, oh, the person dies. You see, what dies, we really have to explore and see. Many people are dead while living because they are living unconscious lives. When you awaken into full consciousness, you will just let go of that which is jada, that which is matter, and you will live a fully conscious life. So that is seen as giving up the body in 21 days. Yes, that is described like that in yogic texts.
Pranam. So, where my question, what I have been struggling with the practice, it happened today too. I'm able to see, okay, my mind is calm or my mind is not calm there. But what I'm struggling, and I think many of us, when I talk to the friend, it is still the mind which is seeing the mind is calm, or it is the self. So, how do you go to that stage where you are able to identify my two variety of mind, or is the self which is seeing myself?
Yes. See, for a long time during a meditation like this, the mind will keep watching the mind. How do you know now you have become the self? You know it when you don't see anything apart from it. When the mind is dropped, it is an exalted state of full awakening. When the mind is automatically dropped, there is no second to it. It's just full awareness. Now, the problem with these meditations is, as I told you in the morning also, we are trying to bring something vast into the little compass of our mind. That's the problem with meditation. So, actually speaking, that is not what happens. In the stage of illumination, you drop the mind at some point. You transcend the mind. That's all we can say. But you don't accommodate Brahman into the mind through a process. You cannot do that. So, for a long time, mind is working, but at some point, mind stops. You are aware than identified. That's the state to be aimed at. It's all first person research. The more you do, it's the most interesting research possible on the planet, I'm telling you. The more you do, the more you can understand it in a deep way. But the practice is important. Yes.
Pranam Mataji.
Yes.
I have a question from the story from which you started, the story of the eagle. So, what if the eagle was told in his last stage about its real nature? And comparing it to a human being, for example, somebody who hasn't attended a Vedanta class, let's say, until the end of his life and, still trapped by Maya, should that person be told, or should that eagle be told about its real nature, or it should be left upon himself or that eagle?
Oh, it should be told. If that eagle had been told, and the earlier the better, you see, he would be flying in the skies. Yes, because he never heard of it, and he thought he was a chicken always, and never heard of. If somebody had just told me, why does he look different? Something would have happened to him, isn't it? He would have at least tried to see, oh, why do I look different? What is my real nature? If this much had come into his mind, things would have turned out differently. So this is what Vedanta does for us. You are using a kind of investigation technique to understand our own real nature. All Vedanta philosophy, everything that we do, we are doing it only in our consciousness. But because it is about consciousness, it will give you that inner jhatka, awakening. It will sort of make you understand, oh my God, this is most important in life. So that is why Shravan is such an important step. Hear about Vedanta as much as you can. It is a spiritual discipline in itself. In fact, in Uttarakhand, the sadhus will say, not even a single discussion on Vedanta will go empty, will go a waste. It will have its impact on the mind. So keep it up. Today you have beautiful YouTube videos, and if you can connect to it every day, it's like taking a dip in the Ganga every day. That is Vedanta. You will come out fresh with a renewed sense of your not just your purpose, but your being. And that's very important. So keep it up. Yeah. Is it time?
I believe that gentleman was okay. Mataji, thank you. The way you had explained it, I took it away that achieving samadhi is a necessary step for enlightenment. Would you kindly juxtapose that with some of the Advaitic texts that say that A to Z, Jnana will do it without the practice and the culmination of samadhi or nirvikalpa samadhi? I'm very interested to hear your response on that.
If you can get it without samadhi, why not? Try. Come on. Do it and see. If you can get it, see, I told you reality is always as it is. So technically and logically, you should not require a process. No samadhi is required. But we are not just logical and existential. We are psychological, not logical. We are psychological human beings with a huge mind functioning. So then you have to bring it into your hands. That is why all this effort. If we were existential and logical purely, you don't require samadhi for self-knowledge. But we are not like that. Check it out and see. Even for a few moments, we can't keep still. We can't feel fully aware. So then you require a technique, a practice, and so you require samadhi. That's the whole point.